Hey, Parker.
Not today, Flash.
Hey, come on, man. I don't just want to talk. Feels better, right? Look, your uncle died. I'm sorry. I get it. I'm sorry. Okay.
Now see, this is my Flash Thompson. No, wait.
They sell tickets to that? Or can anyone who thinks you're a jerk attend?
Don't push me, Eugene. I'm not in the mood.
Yeah, your aunt's sick. Poor puny Parker. Even Sally feels bad for you. But not me. If you're hanging up on the she-geek, that proves you're still a stuck-up egghead. A guy who can't even see when his friends are trying to help.
Flash, gave me a pretty hard time the other day.
Just the other day? I must be slipping.
Thanks for the reality check.
Don't mention it. And I mean not to anyone.
This is my Flash Thompson. Not, whatever this guy is. Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan, and I have opinions on Flash Thompson and the MCU. Alright, I have got to get a few disclaimers and points of clarification out of the way, because unfortunately, the world we live in means someone is bound to take those last quotes out of context. I have absolutely no issues with the way Tony Revolori plays the character in the MCU films, and I think he's an exceptional actor, as I really love The Grand Budapest Hotel, and he is phenomenal in Dope. If you haven't seen either of those films, please check him out, as he's just an absolute treasure. I've of course also went over why you should never blame an actor for character portrayal choices in my Wyatt Russell video. Links below and right up there. I'm sure people will think that they themselves, have things to say about the race and physicality of Tony Revolori as Flash. But I don't. Not really anyway. Because, well, all the issues people bring up regarding race and casting in these movies are essentially null and void, because none of these characters are who their names imply them to be. This isn't Ned Leeds. This, well, obviously isn't Mary Jane Watson. I mean, they lampshade that pretty well throughout the films. And this is not Eugene Flash Thompson. Hashtag not my Flash Thompson. No, these characters are either original inventions or amalgams of existing comics characters that were inserted to fill the role of the characters they're replacing. Spider-Man's best friend, his love interest, and his schoolhood bully. To explain this, we need look no further than at Ned Leeds, sharing his namesake with the comic book character, fellow Daily Bugle reporter, and a rival to Peter Parker, while more closely filling the role of a Harry Osborn type as best friend to Peter. Even further adding to the mashup to Ned's character is the fact his appearance, personality, and even aspects of his relationship to Spider-Man, albeit in alternate universes version, are all based on the Ultimate Universe's Gank Lee. Gank is the best friend of Miles Morales, the alternate version of Spider-Man hailing from the Ultimate Universe, who, honestly, doesn't need an introduction to non-comic readers, because, well, you've basically been watching him for the past 5 years in the MCU. He's an Asian American, though Korean as opposed to Jacob Batalon's Pinoy heritage, nerdy kid, who is one of Miles' only confidants and allies in his spider activities. Even his primary quirk or trait is that he is a big fan of building Legos. There's nothing wrong with these changes, though I do wonder why they didn't just name him Gank, other than the obvious name dropping of a recognizable character from the main 616 Marvel universe. Flash Thompson would seem to be altered in much the same way, sharing almost no characteristics with his namesake. Revelori's Flash is rich and affluent, as well as being more academic, having joined the trivia club, as opposed to the comic's poorer and stereotypical jock character. And I have heard why the filmmakers made some of these decisions, to reflect how our modern society is now faced with bullying in light of technology and social media, and I can absolutely see where they're coming from. However, my issue is that not only does it do a disservice to Flash's character, it also does a disservice to Peter and his struggles. In the comics, Flash and Peter grew up in the same neighborhood and had the same economic background. These parallels played into how they took paths utilizing their different skills to succeed in their environments. Flash became an All-American athlete with a possible future sports career, and Peter excelled at academics to gain scholarships and other future opportunities. Especially in later comics, these dynamics are highlighted to show how envious each was of the other. Another example of this is the difference in their individual upbringings, such as Flash's broken home compared to Peter's loving one. In 1997, there was a special Spider-Man issue published titled That Thompson Boy, in which we flash back to Peter and Flash as young children. The issue follows the perspective of Flash during a normal day, just trying to live his life the best he can, but having to deal with his alcoholic father and other family strife. It primarily shows how responsible Flash had to be for his family and how poorly he was treated for it. This contrasted nicely with the image of Peter, who may have lost both his parents, but had the very loving and supportive Aunt May and Uncle Ben to fall back on. Issues like these and insights into Flash's life like this gave us more context towards the two's dynamic, why they had their issues beyond the simple jock v nerd trope, and elevated Flash from an admittedly stereotypical villain into a nuanced character. Flash was a bully lashing out at the world that he thought was depriving him of what he was owed. We absolutely get shades of this with Revelori's portrayal, but with the absent parents who neglect Flash in the movies. In fact, it's pretty subtly done, and I have got to give props that they found quiet and clever moments to build up that aspect of Flash in the films. Where it goes wrong, though, is where it portrays the antagonism, or more specifically, how Flash competes with Peter. As I said, the filmmakers have commented on this Flash being rooted in the new modern age of bullying, where his bullying is more put-downs and exclusion. The thing is, this is exactly what comic Flash did, minus the physical intimidation, which is, and I can't believe that I am saying this, an incredibly important aspect of their relationship. Let's frame it like this. Peter Parker has been smaller and weaker than Flash for most of his life, a fact Thompson took advantage of many times. Then suddenly, a freak accident meant that while Parker seemed physically the same, he was actually the stronger of the two. So, this smaller, weaker boy now has the ability to fight back against the bully who has put him down all his life. Their dynamic has totally changed. Except, only Peter is aware of this. To protect his family and friends, as you all know, Parker keeps his amazing spiderness a secret, meaning that to truly do anything against Flash would reveal how he's changed. And this dynamic is the one that I truly love, where Parker could easily outmaneuver, outpower, and outclass Thompson, but instead chooses to roll with the punches for the sake of his double life. This choice of Peter's is significant because honestly, Parker is kind of selfish and short-sighted, naturally. That's one of my favorite aspects of his character, the fact that his instincts are not as noble as one would generally expect of a hero. Characters like Captain America and Superman, at least when he's not handled poorly, are portrayed as innately having these strong senses of justice and moral codes. Take away what's special about them, and Cap would still sign up for the war and stand up for the little guy, and Supes would still take his time to help a little old lady across the street, even if he felt lost in the big city as a country bumpkin. That's who they are. Peter, on the other hand, basically lamented his lot in life, and the moment he got his powers, his instincts were to utilize them for personal gain. I mean, the best thing that can be said about him post-bite is that he'd rather perform feats of strength for cash, like wrestling, than outright try to rob or steal. So, at least he's got that going for him, which is nice. It's not until Uncle Ben passes away and Peter's this close to achieving his other initial instinct, vengeance upon Ben's killer, that we start to see the man who is obsessed with power and responsibility. So every interaction with Flash where Peter shrugs off Thompson's antagonism, that's a continuous choice that he's making. And all this nuance is completely lost when Peter has basically always been able to fight back against Flash, at least in the MCU. As I said, Revelori's version of the character is a little more academically inclined, but it is always made clear Peter is still his superior intellectually. He's seen correcting answers that Flash gives in class, and is even more important to the trivia team than Thompson. These things have nothing to do with Peter's abilities, at least not his superhuman ones, so nothing is preventing him from outclassing Flash at any time, other than a general lack of confidence as a teenager. To take away this physical aspect of the relationship undercuts a lot of the nuances of their similarities and differences. It was like in Ender's Game, the movie, when Bonzo Madrid was cast as Moises Arias, who's about 1 foot and a $150 less intimidating than Asa Butterfield as Ender. In the books, Bonzo is supposed to be an actual tangible threat to Ender's life that he needs to approach carefully or he may lose in a physical fight. And that's significant since we know that Ender is fully capable of dispatching larger physical threats even when outnumbered, like with Stilson and his gang in the opening of the novel. Revelori and Arias' physical portrayals make it impossible to feel this intimidation from their characters. Not that that is the actor's fault. Rather, I think it would have benefited the stories if the filmmakers changed a little bit more. For example, if they had actually depicted this new Flash as intellectually superior to Peter, he would still be filling the role of someone who Parker was unable to overcome in his personal life since before his spider powers. Perhaps having Thompson idolize Iron Man over Spider-Man, and Peter needing to keep his connection to Tony Stark a secret, or maybe have Thompson be antagonistic because it's clear he's the one that should get the Stark internship, what with his grades being better than Peter's. This would fulfill the double life requirements while keeping the Flash as a believable antagonist in Parker's life. Ultimately, it's these half measures that are hurting adaptations like this, as the reason these characters worked so well in the first place was that they fulfilled certain roles and criteria, and failing to adapt why they are how they are, not just who they are, prevents them from shining. I think that's why Thompson is basically reduced to comic relief for maybe 3 or 4 scenes in the newest movie, which is a shame because Flash's journey is the best of all Spider-Man's extended cast. So, while I can see the direction the writers and producers were attempting to take the character, personally, I feel like it falls a little flat. If you enjoy this version of the Flash, there's nothing wrong with that. He's a great side character in his own right, and a lot of the comic relief really lands for me. It's just that I know Flash Thompson can be so much more, and it hurts to lose out on that. Though I am just glad that the filmmakers didn't jump right into the Agent Venom storyline that every animated adaptation has rushed to due to the character's comic book popularity. Here's looking at you, 2017's Marvel's Spider-Man. Hello everyone, I wanted to put this here at the end as a little update so that no one had to sit through it at the beginning and could just click away if they weren't interested. I've been absent for a while due to various things that popped up in life, primarily a new job that had me regularly working 10-hour days, 6 days a week. So basically, I was fried and unable to work on any side projects once I got home. I have found some more free time lately and really wanted to make this video, so I thought it might make for a good comeback. I did have 3 other videos that were written before I disappeared, So hopefully I can get these out as close to back as possible. Thank you for your understanding, and if you like what I'm doing, please consider subscribing and liking my videos, and even letting me know if there's any other thing or topic that you want me to dissect or discuss. Thanks so much, and hope to see you guys again soon.